Welcome, everybody, to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Prezman, and we got a six-pack of people lined up. Tons of betting information coming your way. We're going to do a deep dive into the NBA, into the NHL, into Major League Baseball. We got Gianni The Greek joining us right off the bat. Tokyo Brandon right after that to discuss some baseball. We got Nick Parsons from SportsMemo joining us. He's going to look at some baseball as well. And we're going to end the show with some Dave Mason from BetOnline. Let's get to it. Where might Gianni The Greek be, my wonderful producer, Dan Alexander?
I just realized, I was like, usually he's in by now, and he's not. So, I mean, I don't have any gold to share with you, but we do have Tokyo Brandon. So,
well, yes.
Should we start with the pimp?
Why not? And we do have Steve Merril coming up. I forgot to mention.
Yeah, but we know Steve ain't logging on until 12:30, right? We told him 12, so we'll see him at 12:30. We got the pimp. Let's bring him in.
There we go. Tokyo Brandon joining us. What up, bro?
What's up? What's up? Hey, I'm on first. I'll make the show for you.
Dude, you always make the show for us. I mean, come on. It's all about Tokyo Brandon. So how's the baseball season going?
Baseball season is going all right. Number 4 overall at WagerTalk, and MLB not as great as the other leagues. I'm doing better in the KBO and Mexican baseball than MLB. I'll pick it up though. As you know, I have a 4% play in MLB today. So,
well,
May will be much better than April, I hope.
Hey, listen, Tokyo, we're not going to win every single month. Like, it's just not going to happen. Nope.
I can
go ahead.
I can still win the year though. I'm number 4 at WagerTalk right now.
Yes. I'm ahead of you and sinking. So okay. There you go. Okay. I'm not sinking at all, dude. I'm freaking rolling, man. I just won my baseball again last night. Now 4 straight. Oh. Let's get into some betting info for today's show. Diamondbacks against the New York Mets.
Yes.
How do we bet this game?
This is one that I really like because the Diamondbacks started the season on a tear. They were actually challenging the Dodgers for the division lead, but they kind of have fallen off. And I really like the pitcher matchup today. Nobody realizes this, but the Mets actually have the best record in MLB, and they're 13-2 at home. They're just rolling, and they're doing it with very little production from Juan Soto. So if his bat starts heating up, Katie bar the door, they're gonna be really good. I really like the pitching matchup here because Senga has great numbers against the Diamondbacks. Interesting thing about Japanese pitchers. Not a lot of people know this, but the ball is actually different in Japan. It's got a different texture, and it's like a millimeter or two smaller. So it takes Japanese pitchers a year to get adjusted. And I know Senga's not in his second year, but it kind of feels like his second year because he's been in the games, out of the games a lot. So this is kind of his first year to get his feet settled with the culture change and everything. And he's really pitching well against the Diamondbacks. 35 at bats against. He's got an 0.86 average against and a 197 OPS. I always consider about 700 to be the Mendoza line for OPS. So he's just mowing Diamondbacks down. Mets are rolling. I actually have the Diamondbacks offense ranked 17 out of 30 right now, current form included. I have the Mets ranked 3. Bullpens. Diamondbacks are missing some arms from their bullpen. So I really like the Mets here. I'm going to take them on a -1 because the last time I checked, the line was a little steep. -1 you can get for -113. I think it's good value. So I like the Mets in this one.
Yeah, and I love these -1 bets as well.
Me
Tokyo.
too.
And that was some really good information about the ball in Japan. I had no idea. I'm curious if others did. Anyway, Tokyo Brandon joining us, everyone. One of the best baseball bettors alive. 4th most profitable bettor so far this year, which means a run is coming. 4th is still impressive, but Tokyo is normally number 1. So check his baseball out. He's got a 4% play up tonight. Tokyo, the Detroit Tigers, nice start to the season, that's for sure. 19-12 on the year. They're on the road. They're playing the LA Angels, who are, well, exactly where we expect them to be. 12-17 on the season. Losers of 5 straight. They were dogs in all 5. This is the lowest line available to us in their last 5 games. They are plus 100. They're playing a Detroit team that has lost 2 of 3, but that was against Houston. A new series is about to begin. How do we bet this game?
Not sure if Trout's going to be in this game. Here's one more note about Japanese pitchers before I get to this one. You notice Sasaki is struggling this year. It's his first year. You notice last year Yamamoto was struggling, but this year he's a Cy Young contender. So mark my words, when a Japanese pitcher comes over, he's going to struggle in his first year and he's going to shine in his second. I expect big things from Sasaki next season. So, sorry, just had to throw that in. On to the next game. So we got the Tigers taking on the Angels. Not sure if Mike Trout's going to be in this game. He was pulled from yesterday's game. So he said he's fine, but we all know Mike Trout. He's a walking pulled hammy. So I don't know if he's even going to play in this game. Kikuchi was their big addition for the Angels, but he's not performing very well. I have him ranked 18th out of 30. I curve my starting pitchers. I know there's like 200 of them, but I curve it on 30 so I can compare it with the bullpens and the hitters. He's got a horrible walks to strikeout ratio. It's over 70%, and 20 to 30% is where you want to be with that. Casey Mize falls right in there. He's right at 30 with his walks to strike ratio. Detroit has the better bats. Actually, the Angels rank dead last in hitting in current form included in all of Major League Baseball. And starting pitching, there's no comparison. Casey Mize is a much better pitcher than Kikuchi. It concerns me that they're on the road, but I still like the Tigers -1 in this one. I'm going to do another -1. Hitting as well. Detroit's been average, but the Angels are dead last in hitting, so I feel pretty comfortable taking the Tigers and Casey Mize. Last time I took Casey Mize, I cashed it. He crushed the Orioles, which is not saying much given the Orioles' current form, but Angels not much better than the Orioles, in my opinion. So I'm going with the Tigers in this one, -1.
Tokyo Brandon, number 1 most profitable expert the last 7 days. Number 1, 3 of the last 4 years, up 41 units in 2025 already. You guys can get
Chasing
3
you.
days. What?
Chasing you.
Well, so let's do 3-day all access pass for Tokyo Brandon. Use the promo code TB3. Only $39. You get them for 3 days. Tokyo, thanks for doing this, man. Really appreciate you. I'm done now. You and I will no longer chat this summer. Lots of love, bro. Yeah. Screw off. Don't worry. I got a new show coming in August, and I'm for sure gonna have you on it. That is for damn sure. Tokyo Brandon, everyone. Lots of love to him. What an incredible baseball bettor. Gianni The Greek joining us right now. We still have Steve Merril to go, Nick Parsons after that. We got Dave Mason from BetOnline. We got a jam-packed show. Gianni, how are you today, bro?
Good, brother. The internet was down, and so I had to use hotspot. That's why it took a little second to do this.
No worries. Well, I see we got a different background today. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, until I get the office set up, I got to use this table.
All good, brother. All good. So let's get into the Steam report for Thursday. We got 2 NBA games going tonight. Detroit hosting the New York Knicks, LA Clippers hosting Denver. Steve Merril will take apart both those games later on in the show. But right now, we want to know where all the money is going.
Well, with the Knicks in Detroit, nothing really going on. Historically, the team in the Knicks position usually win this game. Hasn't been a big sample size, though, as far as leaning on how they've done historically. As far as the betting action, good 2-way action on the side, but 1-way action on the under. Like the heavy public money on this under. They're betting this game tonight heavily. Like it's sticking out a lot. And you're seeing the total doesn't reflect that. I'm even seeing it a half point above the 213. So even though a bunch of under money's coming in, it's not being respected at all by the books. It's the second game that sticks out the most. That's the one that they're going to have a lot of exposure on because of the one-way action on Denver. Nothing from the betting syndicates, nothing on the side, nothing on the total from either game. But
Right.
Denver's being bet so heavily. I mean, one-sided action. They're betting Denver money line, thinking they don't need the 6 points. They're betting Denver plus the 6 points. They're teasing Denver up to like plus 10.5 or 11. So they really, really, really like Denver. Books are going to be all over that Clippers side, needing the Clippers to get it done tonight. Like that's one of the heaviest one-sided NBA games I've seen in a couple days, where it's just like everybody's on the same side. But that team in that spot has not done well. In fact, the team in the Clippers situation has been able to get it done and tie the series up 3-3 more times than not. In fact, it's again another small sample size. Historically, it hasn't gone down this way. Win, loss, win, win for the team that's home. But in this game 6, the team down usually has extended it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you're looking at a 6-point spread. I don't think it's as much as the books making it like, oh, they need to win this or they're out of the playoffs. If anything, I think it's being discounted because the opener was 7. And it's been, like I said, one-sided public money forcing it down to 6. Be careful with that. I actually like the Clippers myself. I thought this is a good game for them to come out and get a nice win and extend it to 7 games. But that's just my opinion. I haven't bet it yet, but if it drops to like below 6, I'm betting it. I like the Clippers.
Gianni The Greek joining us, everyone. And to me, if you're betting the Clippers, I think you should look at the first half. I really like those, those elimination games, taking the team that can be eliminated in the first quarter or first half always feels like a better bet to me than taking them for the entire game. Gianni, we got 4 NHL games going tonight. What are you seeing or hearing on those?
I bet Ottawa. I bet Ottawa. As soon as that line came out for this game, I gave that out to subscribers as well at minus 110 or up to minus 115 on that one. So that line moves sharp money related. We got some respect. I'm seeing as high as minus 120 out there at South Point. So definitely respect on that Ottawa. But the public's the other way. So we help limit some of the exposure for the books because the public's betting Toronto in this one against Ottawa. So thinking Toronto shuts it down, we think it's going to extend to the 7th game. Also, sharp money on Edmonton. I don't like it, but something's got to be up because I've seen multiple groups bet Edmonton and at much different numbers, meaning that the first account I saw it in, it was like at minus 130 and minus 135, minus 140. And then I saw it in another account this morning at minus 160.
And
so
now there's
out or what?
So now there's minus 170s all around. And Gianni, listen, I understand the move.
Really?
Look, I spoke about this on the Blue Line today, and I said that, the move is keeping me off of Edmonton tonight. I can't bet it. It's the wrong line, and it's a perfect example and a lesson that I think everybody needs to understand. We don't line chase. We can't, all because Edmonton, I think Edmonton's going to win. And I think Edmonton wins in the spot, more often than not. I don't think they win in the spot 63% of the time. So the number now is just too high. So
I think it's dog or pass right now.
Yeah, it's
like
dog
if you
or
like
pass.
The dog, I think it makes sense. Otherwise, I think you got to pass.
I just don't like the dog here. I think there's ghosts in LA losing 3 series in a row to Edmonton. I think the Kings coach made a series-changing mistake in Game 3. I think Quentin Byfield made a mistake in Game 4. I think they got completely annihilated. Game 4 and then Game 5, but whatever. Game 3, Game 4. They completely got totally annihilated in Game 5. Like, shame on the LA Kings. Show up to their home, play in front of their fans who paid a lot of money to see them, and they didn't even show up. I mean, it was a complete annihilation by Edmonton. I think the Kings are done. I just can't get to the window. I think that line is too big now. It was really delicious, though, at -135.
What do you think of Vegas, Minnesota? Because that's the other one. Colorado, I expected it. The public's on Colorado. 8 out of 10 bets are on Colorado. But the Vegas, Minnesota, there's a lot of Minnesota.
And why shouldn't there be? At home, +140 in a series that they've kept close the whole way through. I mean, this line makes absolutely no sense to me. So why would anyone lay -165, 170 on a Vegas team that frankly is lucky to be in this series right now? Minnesota's kept it close all the way through. And no reason to think Minnesota can't win this game outright. And as far as Colorado goes, are people mad? -200 they're prepared to lay against a Dallas team that was the Stanley Cup favorite a month ago, a Dallas team that has got their act together, a Dallas team that laid the smackdown on Colorado, a Dallas team that was able to find goals against Blackwood. I'm flabbergasted at the Colorado line. Flabbergasted.
Me too. I'm seeing 190 even on that now. That's crazy.
I mean, if I'm betting those games, throw a little, half unit on Mini and Dallas in a parlay. Baffling line, the Colorado line. But hey, that's what the markets dictated, which means ultimately, Gianni, it's the right line because every line is the right line at every time, even when it changes.
It's crazy. All Minnesota, man. All Minnesota.
Really quick, we got 4 more guests coming up, Gianni. What's going on in baseball?
A couple sides and totals on the same game. Cubs, Pittsburgh, early game. Cubs +140, Cubs +130, Cubs +120, and the over 7.5. And then in the Minnesota, Cleveland, same situation. Cleveland at +105 all the way up to -110. So +105, even money, -105, all the way to -110 on Minnesota, forgive me. And the over 8.5 and now over 9. So Minnesota and the over. And last but not least, St. Louis, Cincinnati. St. Louis at +110, +105, even money up to -105. And also the same situation, over 8.5 and over 9. So it's Cubs and over, Minnesota and over, St. Louis and over. Those are the 3 sides, 3 totals that stick out the most as far as being in multiple accounts.
Wonderful stuff. What do you got for the clients today?
Same old, brother. Coming off a sweep yesterday.
Nice.
In baseball, in Major League Baseball, still sitting at number 1 in profit overall in baseball, up over 70 units. And just continuing the grind. I will have a playoff play as well up tonight, and still adding to that UFC card with the 5% going on Saturday. Really good card.
Gianni The Greek, everyone. Wonderful stuff. Okay, guys, if you like what you're hearing, take a second out of your day and hit that like button. It's really appreciated. Make sure to subscribe to our channel as well. Put up some comments. Tomorrow is my last day hosting WagerTalk Today. I've gotten a lot of love this week. I really appreciate it. But you're not going to miss me, guys. I'm back end of August with my own show. It'll be live. We will get to hang out together. So stay tuned for that. I'm also going to be on WagerTalk Today once a week, giving out NHL plays. It'll be hosted by the great Andy Lang. We'll talk to him tomorrow. Friday's show will have Teddy Covers opening up with me, just like old times. Can't wait for that. As well, tonight, I got 1 NHL play, 1 NBA, and 1 baseball play, and I'm absolutely freaking rolling. Had one for my clients again last night. It is $2 Tuesday over at SportsMemo. Nick Parsons is joining us to discuss that. How are you, Nick? Nice to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Prez. Actually, it's $2 Thursday.
You know, Nick, it's so funny. We do $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk for like 7 years. We got rid of it, but it's still like associated in your head,
Right.
you know? You say the word
Exactly.
$2 and then Tuesday follows it.
There
But
you
yes,
go.
$2 Thursday over at SportsMemo.
Mhm.
Tell us who the featured handicapper is there and why people should buy it. And it is only $2.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with $2, but yeah, check out Tom Macrina. He's one of the new handicappers over at Sports Memo. He's currently on a 10-4 run, NBA playoff run. He's also hitting 62% on the year. If you dive deeper into his stats, guys, you're going to find that his NBA numbers, they're among the best out there. So yeah, you can grab Tom's NBA best bet on Thursday night right now for just $2 over at Sports Memo. Obviously a really fantastic deal to take advantage of there, Prez.
Yeah, and a great way to find out if you like the way the handicapper works, how they talk, what their sort of handicapping strategy is. So, guys, $2, that's all we're asking. As for you, my friend, let's get into some actionable info, and then we'll talk about how hot you are. San Fran, the Giants, minus 250 against Colorado. Interesting here because we got a huge favorite and a 7 as the total. This suggests to me a 5-1, 6-0 game, total blowout. Colorado getting almost no runs in. That's what the line makers are telling us. What's Nick Parsons telling us?
I mean, I'm sort of seeing the same thing as well. You know, I think Justin Verlander, he's going to settle down for San Francisco here and get the better of his inconsistent counterpart, Kyle Freeland. The Rockies, they're just 1-14 on the road this year. The Giants, they're 9-4 at home, and they're going to be really hungry to return to form here. They're coming off the 2 divisional losses at San Diego earlier this week. Freeland, he's 0-4 with a 5.93 ERA. Verlander, he's 0-2 with a 4.70 ERA, so nothing to write home about with either of these guys. But they're coming off completely different performances. Freeland, he was shelled for 6 runs off 10 hits in a loss to the Reds in his last outing. Verlander, he took a hard luck loss in his last outing. He gave up 2 runs and he had 5 strikeouts over 6 innings against the Pirates. And so I think for me, baseball, I bet a lot to do with the starting pitchers. This is a great situational play as well. I just think because San Francisco off those 2 losses there, they're not going to be taking anything for granted here. And so I think when you take into account the recent form of these 2 guys, and yeah, the fact that the Giants lost those 2 divisional games, that San Francisco is not only going to win this game, but it's going to do so in blowout fashion.
Nick Parsons joining us, and I know most of you won't recognize this reference, but Nick is the Elliot Friedman of Sports Memo. Nick, do you know that reference?
Of course, buddy. Yeah, I'm Canadian with you.
You look like Elliot. You smell like Elliot.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But
you know what? Honestly, he's one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He is a total mensch. He is so kind. Such a sweet human being.
There you go.
And he's incredible at what he does. And so are you.
Agreed.
You got a show up called The Betting Memo. Tell us about that show and where can people see it, hear it, and when is it?
Right. So, yeah, this is going to be starting next week, a near daily show reviewing everything that's going on over at Sports Memo right now. Which cappers are hot, what big plays are available. I'm also going to give out a client play on each show. So if you guys tune into that, you're going to get an actual client play from me. I'll also be giving out different featured free picks from different featured cappers as well. So it's a complete review show. It's called The Betting Memo. And so we're really looking forward to that. It gets going next week.
There we go. Thanks for doing this, Nick. Real pleasure. Love working with you, Nick. Parsons from Sports Memo, everybody.
Nice.
We still have Steve Merril to talk NBA. We got Dave Mason coming on, and we're going to end the show with Kyle frickin' Anthony. Couple of shout outs to the people in the chat room. David, really appreciate you. YCap, Sean Alvarez in there every single day. And Sean writes, Prez, do you not think that this chat isn't going to follow you to your news show? Yeah, I do, Sean. I think me and the chat have hung out for 3-4 years. I think these guys are my friends. I'm their friend. I think ultimately we will hang out again. I think everyone's going to follow me to my new show. With that said, they need to stay here for this show because Andy's got some incredible things coming, and it is going to be a very fun show. WagerTalk Today, starting next week, is going to have a lot of life, guys. It's gotten stagnant under me. I understand that. 4 or 5 years of doing this show, it gets a little bit monotonous, mundane, if you will. Andy's going to bring a ton of life to the show starting Monday. So although I do think everyone's going to be hanging out with me in August, I think they're going to be hanging out with Andy on Monday. Steve Merril joining us. How are you, brother?
Doing well, Prez. Yeah, it's a sad transition, but it's also a good one. Like you said, you've been doing this a long time, and I expect that golf handicap to be a couple strokes lower here in the near future.
I am definitely going to get to golf more. That is for sure, my brother. I'm excited about that. But you know what? Honestly, Steve, I'm mostly excited for Andy. He deserves this show, and the show deserves to go younger. Like, I'm old, you're old, Teddy's old, Marco's old, Crack's old, Gianni's old. You know, we got a lot of youth moving up, and we have to recognize that they're the next generation, and Andy is at the forefront of that entire movement. And not only that, Steve, but betting is changing as well, and we're seeing it. You and I are constantly talking about sides and totals. 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 25-year-olds aren't talking about sides and totals, Steve. They're talking about shot props and goal props and three-point props and assist props. And the world is changing around us, and rather than trying to learn it and figure it out, why don't we just sit on a couch, eat some popcorn, and watch the youth take over?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because I'm going to break down the 2 NBA games, and I'm actually going to focus on some props today because, once again, there's just 2 NBA games. I've been doing that with my videos. So, yeah, Andy's the prop master, and we, of course, started together here on the NASCAR show, and you brought both of us on. So I got to thank you for that. You brought both me and Andy to WagerTalk TV 5 years ago during the COVID shutdown, so we've come full circle.
Yes, and I don't clap when a pilot lands the plane, and I don't need applause for how brilliantly I've built WagerTalk's roster. That's my job. Plus, Johnny's taking it all over anyway. He's a god. Steve Merril, let's get into the New York Knicks game. They're playing Detroit tonight. -1.5 for the Pistons. So, guys, we've gone down this in great detail from a mathematical perspective. If you plan on betting Detroit, it's -120 on the money line. Absolutely pointless taking them at -1.5. How are you betting this game tonight, dude?
Yeah, first of all, as I'm sure most of the viewers know, I'm doing every game, every day for the NBA playoffs. So deep dives into both of these games. We're going to touch on them quickly here for the show. But if you'd like a deeper dive, be sure to check WagerTalk TV on later this afternoon, as I have both of these games. I'll also have Friday's game between the Warriors and Rockets. We're putting them up the night before. So click subscribe, click that bell for an instant alert so you never miss out. One of the things I mentioned about this game was that low point spread, Prez. And I completely agree. If you're going to play the Pistons, you're laying the 1.5. If you're going to play the Knicks, you're probably looking to definitely play it on the money line, +110-ish. This line was 2 yesterday when I did the video. It has come down to 1.5 now, so the money line a little bit lower. But one of the things I pointed out was that the straight-up winner is now 9-0 against the spread this year. These teams have played 9 times going back to the start of the regular season in early November, and the straight-up winner has gone 9-0 against the spread. And that's with some bigger spreads in this. So definitely don't see a situation where you take the Knicks if you don't think they can win outright. Knicks, I do think, closed the series out here. It's 3-2. They could have closed it out at home on Tuesday night with a 3-1 lead. They did not do so. They missed 11 free throws. That was really the difference in that game. From the free throw line, Detroit was +10, +11, I believe. New York had the edge from 2- and 3-point range. So as long as the free throws are somewhat equal, I think the Knicks get the series tonight in Detroit. And a couple player props we'll look at, as I mentioned. One thing I like to do is we talk about the zigzag with sides and totals. I like using the zigzag with player props as well in these 7-game series and look for a guy that maybe underachieved or overachieved in the previous game. And what I'm looking for is extreme shooting one way or the other. Maybe making all of his shots but few minutes. We look to play the under, or we look to play the over at the guy that's due to break out again. Since I think the Knicks will show up off the loss tonight, we're going to look for some New York player props over. And we always start, of course, with Jalen Brunson, who I think is one of the best players in the league. Brunson scored 30 points or more in each of the first 4 playoff games. He did finally regress, though, in game number 5 the other night with just 16 points, but he was 4 for 16 shooting. He got to the free throw line 10 times. He was only 1 for 4 from 3. 28.5 has been his point total the last few games. Once again, he had 30 or more every game until the last one. I look for him to bounce back with a strong showing. His ankle's a little banged up, but it seems like he's always injured, so I'm not too worried. He'll go tonight. And the other guy that's the star player on this team is Karl-Anthony Towns. He also had an off game with just 17 points, but he took 14 shot attempts. So once again, Brunson and Towns had 30 shot attempts from the field. They only made 9. I expect them both to play better tonight. So we'll take a look at some overs. And then the other side of the coin, maybe a Detroit player to go under. Asar Thompson, breakout game the other night, 22 points. He had single digits before that, 10 or less every other game. He's priced around 10, 10.5. Asar Thompson, I think, regresses. He had 22 points, but he was 8 for 10 shooting. You can't shoot any better than that. And he didn't play a lot of minutes, only played 29 minutes. So Thompson under for Detroit, Brunson and Towns over for the Knicks.
Steve Merril joining us, everyone. Steve, before we get into the next game, Denver and the Clippers, what do you got for the clients?
Yeah, I mentioned we're doing all the NBA playoff games video form every day, so check out WagerTalk TV. And then if you want my official best bets, I'm giving you sides, totals, player props for free in every video. But if you want my strongest plays each and every night, check out my page, Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. And deja vu all over again. This is when we got red hot last year, and it's not a coincidence. I love the NBA playoffs. We were number 1 in the NBA last season. I was number 1 in best bet profit in baseball last year at WagerTalk, and this is when it got hot. In fact, by the end of August last summer, my all sports clients had already doubled their bankroll, run over 100 units by the end of August last summer, finished up over 133 units for the year. If you're ready to take a serious investment approach, now is the time. And it doesn't matter if you get a 1 day, a 1 month, a 1 year. Every client gets the same best bet I'm personally using. Same games I've won with consistently since 1996. 29 years I've done this as a professional. Right now, we have a buy 2 weeks, get the 3rd week free. That works out to $9.50 a day. No promo code needed. Or if you're ready to take that true long-term investment approach, get the 1 year all access and save $811 with promo code SM365. Full details on my page, along with a daily free play. I've got a free baseball play up there for today. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker. Shortcut WT.buzz/SM.
There we go. Steve Merril. Let's get into the next NBA game. And guys, Dave Mason will be joining us right after Steve to tell us what BetOnline needs tonight. And we'll be doing a deep dive into the NBA and where all the money is going. So with that said, we've got Denver +6 against the Clippers. A lot of money coming in on Denver, Steve. 68% of all tickets written on Denver. Gianni leans slightly towards the Clippers. Where are you going here?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what Dave Mason says as far as the sharp square split on this game, Prez, because when I did the video yesterday, this line was 6.5, and I felt like the sharper books were leaning that way even at 6.5. As you mentioned, it's now 6s, but you look at BetOnline, it's 6 minus 12. Another sharp offshore is 6.5. So once again, I get a feeling this might be a little bit of a public square divide. So definitely ask Dave about that. Be interesting to hear his take on that. I like the Clippers in this game to extend the series. This is do or die for the LA Clippers. They're down 3-2, and they were embarrassed the other night on Tuesday. Denver led by 22 in that game, coasted to a 16-point win. I think the Clippers are the better team, and obviously 6.5 point line says the odds makers feel that way. So the better team off a blowout loss is a zigzag angle I like to use. I think it also correlates with the under here, 212. And we've seen some movement on this line. It was 212 yesterday. Now it's starting to go a little higher, 212.5 in some spots. Others still have 212. I'm not big on parlays. I think in general you should play games straight up individual bets. That's what my clients use for our best bet service. But the one time you can say a parlay maybe has an advantage is if a side and total are correlated. And I do think the under is correlated to the Clippers in this game. So if you like LA to bounce back and force a game 7, you got to figure they're going to play pretty good defense. That would get me on the team total Nuggets under as well. Nuggets team total under around 102.5 would make sense. And as far as some player props, by the way, the Clippers did not lose a game in April until the game 1 loss in overtime in this series. And over the final 15 games of the regular season, they had the best net rating in the NBA ahead of OKC and Boston. They were the number 1 offense and the number 3 defense over the final 15 games of the regular season. So I do think the Clippers are a really good team right now with their backs against the wall. And another thing I'll point out is I know the line looks big, right? 6.5. And I think that's why the public is probably on the Nuggets. But here again, just like the Detroit-New York series, if you pick the straight-up winner, you get the point spread winner. In fact, these teams also played 9 times this year, and the straight-up winner has gone 8-1 against the spread. The only time the straight-up winner didn't cover was the overtime game 1 when the Nuggets won by 2, laying 3. And that game, in regulation, it was a tie. So once again, 8-1 ATS if you pick the straight-up winner in this series. So don't let the big numbers scare you. I think the Clippers force a game 7 tonight. And as far as some player props in this one, never looking to fade Jokic. We don't fade superstars in the NBA playoffs. So even though I do think Nuggets team total is worth a look to the under, be careful with Jokic because he actually didn't have a very good points game. Another triple-double, by the way. He's had a triple-double in every game but 2. And he got there with, I believe, what was it, like 16 points? No, 13 points. And he still had triple-double. And he missed the other triple-doubles by 1 or 2 each game. Somebody that might regress a little bit here is Christian Braun. I actually liked him for some over props recently. I think he was around 6.5. The last game, he put up 11 points. I mentioned him in the video. That was a free winner for everybody. Be careful with Braun now, though. He was 5 for 8 shooting. Can't shoot much better than that. Michael Porter Jr., though, is the guy I think is going to regress tonight. 5 for 10 shooting, 3 for 5 from 3 in that last game, 14 points in 37 minutes. I look for him to regress. He's had a couple over games, barely. I look for Porter Jr. to go under tonight and the Nugget team total to stay under as well.
Steve Merril, thanks for doing this, brother. Have a kick-ass summer. We'll talk online, and we'll see you on my new show in August. Steve will be back next week with Andy Lang on WagerTalk Today. Guys, I just put up my NBA play. I put up my baseball play. Baseball's been unfreaking believable. NBA has been insane since January. Insane. I'm up over 50 units. But in all my sports, I'm up close to 100 units of profit over the last 6-7 weeks since March 14th, 94 units. I'm in must bet mode. I got one NBA, one MLB, and one NHL play all up for tonight. Dave Mason joining us. Dave, what do the books need in the NBA tonight, my friend?
Hey, thanks, Prez, for having me. We need the Knicks. No, check that. We need the Pistons pretty big on the spread. That being said, Knicks is a good winner for us in the series price. So, it's one of those. I mean, we wouldn't mind if the Pistons win tonight, but as long as the Knicks wrap it up before the series ends, that's great. We took some sharp on Knicks plus 2.5 and over 212 on that. And the other game, most of the bets are on the Nuggets. Most of the cash is on Clippers. However, sharp is on the Nuggets at plus 7 and plus 8 and over 211.
Yeah, well, that's why neither the 2.5 for the Knicks is available nor the 8 in the Denver game. Dave Mason joining us from BetOnline, everybody. Dave, NBA, for every 10 NBA playoff bets you guys take, how many NHL playoff bets do you take?
I would say 3.2 off the top of my head. Just
about 30 to 35% of all.
Yeah, about that, and it could be a little lower, could be a little higher, but NBA definitely takes a lot more action.
Yeah, that's for sure. And baseball at this time of the year?
Probably in about that same range to probably 25. It depends on the game, you know what I mean? So but overall, probably 25%, probably about that, more or less.
So it's NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, then baseball. What do you got for us on the Kentucky Derby coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, man. The bettors are, let's see. Well, first of all, we have odds in 2 places. We'll have odds in 2 places. We have it in the race book, which is the more traditional horse odds, the exactas, trifectas. And again, I always have to remind players every year because the Kentucky Derby brings out a lot of novice horse bettors, and they think they're betting the price. They're getting the price they bet it at, but they don't realize, they're getting the closing odds. And again, that's in the race book, but we also have the fixed odds within the sports book. So if you're looking at that kind of betting, I want to bet American Promise at 16-1, you're going to get that in the sports book. So right now, bet count, American Promise is getting the most bets, 16-1. Journalism plus 275. Sandman plus 750. As far as liabilities are concerned, Render Judgments, our biggest liability, 40-1. Then American Promise and Sandman. To win the Triple Crown, that's always the most popular bet. Prop bet. Yes is 10-1. No is minus 2,500. As usual, everybody's on the yes, taking those lottery tickets. That's usually a winner for us, but when they're in the Triple Crown winner, it beats us up a little bit. So we're always rooting for a horse to win the first two legs. That way, the Belmont has a lot of juice and a lot of action, but that horse falling short in the Belmont.
So that's very interesting, Dave. So you've got a plus 1,000 on yes, there will be a Triple Crown winner, and that suggests mathematically that there's a Triple Crown winner once every 10 years. Sounds like a horrible, horrible, horrible bet to make, given that there is definitely not a Triple Crown winner once every 10 years. Conversely, if you bet the no, the math says that there's a Triple Crown winner once every 25 years. Now, I don't know that to be true, but again, that sounds like a horrible bet. I'm thinking both sides of that bet is horrible.
Well, the yes, I think there's been 13, and there's been 150. I think this is the 151st running of the
so
Triple.
It's not that off. It's like one out of every 12.
Well, yeah. How many years have they been running all three?
Dude,
though? Around 150. So it's right around there. There's been two in the last 10 to 12 years, I believe. Again, I'm not much of a horse guy. There was a huge drought, and then there was two within the last about decade. Somebody can correct me on that, but about dozen years, I think, give or take. So there's been a little flurry, if you can call it that, two in the last 10 or so years. But yeah, those odds will come down too. That's just one of those that everybody bets on, the yes kind of lottery ticket syndrome. I always call it, small bet for a big payout. But yeah, whether there's value on either side, usually not, but it's always a popular one. Usually the value's on the no by the time it closes, because that prop 9 times out of 10 opens generous, and everybody bets the yes at that lottery ticket, and we have a huge liability. And then just from a risk management point of view, those odds drop. That could drop to minus 1,000 plus 600 or something like that. So if you're going to bet the yes, bet it early. If you're going to bet the no, wait.
All right, there we go. Dave Mason is joining us. We got Kyle Anthony to take apart the UFC next. And if you like UFC, we got another UFC expert from Westgate tomorrow, Dave Babatikas. Dave, NHL tonight, there's 4 games in play. Anything that we need to know about? Any big liability? Any really smart bettors come in and place a bet we should know about?
Yeah, we do have a little bit of sharp action. Let me check it out here. It's both our 2 sharpest bets are on the puck lines. We have Colorado minus 1.5 plus 138, and then the Oilers minus 1.5 plus 156. Nothing too sharp besides that. On the games, I'm not sure who we need. Let me check that real quick. Looks like we're going to need the Senators pretty big. That's our biggest need as of now. But yeah, not a lot of sharp action yet, but that'll come closer to when they drop the puck.
There we go. Dave Mason, what else you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, Kentucky Derby weekend, man. We come on over. Like I said, you can bet. If you're a traditionalist, you want to bet the exactas, the trifectas, the parimutuel kind type betting. We have those odds in the race book. If you like the fixed odds, you want to bet a horse at the odds and get those odds, we have them in the standard sports book under the horse section. We also have a contest, $20,000 up for grabs. Hit up in our Kentucky Derby first and last contest. So hit up the contest page to enter that for free.
Brilliant. Wonderful stuff, Dave. Thanks for doing this. Dave, this is my last Thursday hosting WagerTalk Today. I have a new show coming at the end of August. Andy Lang is taking over. You'll be working with him next week. I can't thank you enough for all of for working with you. It's been a real pleasure, brother.
Hey, Prez, thanks so much. Hit me up on DM all the time, and thanks for the warning. I'll have to freshen up on my darts intel.
Well said. There we go. Dave Mason, everyone. Let's keep the show moving. Kyle Anthony joining us to talk UFC. What's up, Kyle?
How you doing, Prez? This is the end of an era, huh? End of an era, man. It feels a little bit like a funeral, a little bit, but I know there's a lot of great things that you got going on, and looking forward to see what Andy and everybody else does, starting next week.
Well, I appreciate the words, and I've really enjoyed our time together, dude. I got a new show coming. We'll get guests on it. I'll be talking a little bit about it tomorrow, but right now we just got to keep moving forward. You got 2 MMA bets for us. You're the number 1 MMA expert the last 12 months. Congratulations. Gaston Bolanos versus Quang Lee. How do we bet this matchup? And I don't care if I butchered their names.
You were pretty good on the way out. Pretty good. We got Gaston Bolanos. He is minus 140 on the comeback here. We have Quang Lee plus 120. Now, this kind of feels like a little bit of an overreaction to the market, as you have Bolanos opened up at minus 220 and money has consistently come in. And I think the market is really seeing a perceived path here for Quang Lee, which is wrestling. And you know what? He's going to look for wrestling. He's going to look to push that pace. He's going to look to do all those things. My issue here is the fact that he's not very good at wrestling, and not only that, but when he shoots, he doesn't really find much success. And there's a lot of times he just doesn't shoot at all. And the first 2 UFC fights that he had, first one was against Chris Gutierrez. Gutierrez was able to really push off a lot of the takedowns. Lee was only 2 for 11 on takedown attempts. And even his most recent fight against Xiao Long, he only shot 2 takedowns. Now, for Bolanos on the other side here, he is a striker primarily, but he's really going to be looking to continue to elevate his takedown defense. And he has done that. Even in his most recent fight, he was able to kind of create space, have good scrambles, show good get-ups, and also have the ability to just get back to his feet. And he's going to have the physicality and strength advantage here in this spot, where I really just think that's going to help him in the clinch, up against the fence, and create that space. And when this fight plays out on the feet, Bolanos is just a massive, better striker compared to Lee. He's going to be able to move forward, have the better striking, have the crisper combinations, the bigger, harder hitter between the two, has fantastic Muay Thai, and just is going to land the crisper shots. And plus, most recently for Lee, he just lost to a worse striker in Xiao Long, where he got knocked out. So I think this is a spot where over the first 2 fights, you've seen a negative striking differential for Lee. I think that you're going to have Bolanos landing big shots, looking for that shot to actually probably put him out. But I think that we're getting a discount here. Minus 220 was probably more of the true odds. I think that minus 140 is good value here in this spot.
Kyle Anthony joining us. Kyle, I love when names come together, you're like, whatever, a baseball pitcher and your last name is Pitcher. Who knew? Anyway, we got a guy fighting on this card with the last name Smotherman. He could only be doing a few things in life. He could be in porn, or he could be in UFC. Maybe pillow fighting. I don't know. I'm sure there's a pillow fighting league out there. Odds on it. Andy probably bets on it regularly. But Cameron Smotherman is fighting Sidey. Let's go with Sidey. Yeah. By the way, I watched the movie The Sinners last night. Before you break that down.
Good.
Total junk, man. What is going on?
I've heard there's been so much hype about
97% rating or something.
Yeah.
Like it was. I don't even understand what I watched, to be honest with you. It was 2.5 hours of total nonsense, but I digress. Is Smotherman going to get it done?
So we have Serhiy City. He is minus 130 on the comeback here. We've got Cameron Smotherman plus 120. Now, I was really impressed by Smotherman's UFC debut. He came in on very short notice against Jake Hadley. And this was a fight where you had Smotherman, who closed as a plus 460 underdog and outperformed that number dramatically, dominated the striking, outlanded Jake Hadley 96-60. And that's really where I see this fight kind of going here. We've got Smotherman, who's going to have really solid striking overall, good boxing. He's got good footwork. He does have decent power with good volume. And that's kind of where I really see this kind of going. And the biggest thing here on the other side here for Sidey is I was really not impressed with his most recent 2 fights in the UFC. And, you know, he had both split decisions, 1-1 over that span. And even his most recent fight against Garrett Armstrong was absolutely a fight that Garrett should have won the fight. He outlanded Sidey, took him down 4 times, had 5 minutes of control time, and really pretty much controlled the action, but yet they gave it to Sidey. So he probably should be 0-2 heading into this fight. And he's tall, he's lanky, but he's the kind of guy that just doesn't really understand how to use his range, how to use his length. And the guy in the main event, Corey Sandhagen, who really is long, lanky, but is great footwork, good front kicks, utilizes distance management. And that's really what Sidey doesn't do. So I think this is a spot where Smotherman can smother him and move forward, have those good shots, have the good combinations, get inside that range, land the better shots. And I think that is really where you've got Sidey, who is very hittable in the pocket, can be very sloppy. And that, again, inside the pocket is where he's going to be landing. So you also got to look at the last part here is the fact that Sidey needs takedowns. You know, he is the better grappler, but he has an inability to get the fight to the ground. Over his first 2 UFC fights, he's 0-8 on takedowns. So I think this plays out on the feet. I think clearly the better striker is Smotherman. I think his boxing is going to really work inside the pocket. So at this price here at a plus money number, I like Smotherman to get the job done.
There we go. Kyle freaking Anthony, what do you got to promote?
So I do have a 4% play this weekend. I also do have 4 plays overall right now. Probably going to add a 5th before fight night on Saturday. Again, number 1 in MMA over the last 12 months. And, you know, we crushed it at UFC 314 with 12 units. We gave a little bit of that back last weekend, but we're ready to rock and roll on Saturday.
There we go. Kyle Anthony, you're out of here. Okay, guys, real quick. So Chris Allen, one of our awesome people who work in our production department, asked if I have seen the movie Anora. Guys, let me know if I should watch that. I heard it was not a great movie. A friend of mine said it was one of the worst movies he's ever seen. So I don't know whether to give my time to Anora. As far as Sinners go, look, brilliantly filmed, beautiful soundtrack, really vibrant movie. It was just directorial masturbation at its best. Whoever directed it, Jim Kuge, I don't know. He just loves himself too much or something. The shots were too long. The movie was so slow. Act 1 was an hour of nothingness. Beautifully filmed, great soundtrack, not worth watching. Other than that, yes, Dan Alexander, it does sound like The Bear season 3, which I still have not. Come on, Dan. I still have not finished The Bear season 3, Dan. I honestly, I gave up on The Bear season 3, like on episode 6. I was like, this is
yeah. Yeah, you're not
idiocy.
missing much. I did see they've dropped that season 4 is coming out. It'll be a day after I get married. So June 15th, season 4 is dropping, and I'm hoping they heard the criticism loud and like they actually further, because you're not missing anything in season 3, Press, because nothing happens with the plot. And the best part of The Bear was what's happening with the restaurant. Like the restaurant became
and the love affair, and
they don't address it once. So you didn't miss anything in season 3. I will do the service of watching season 4, first few episodes, and I'll tell you, I know you got golf to do, you got a new show you got to plan, so I will watch it for you.
Thank you.
I'll let you know what you're missing. But comment below, was there any show that fell off quite like The Bear did in season 3? Because the first 2, some of the best television I've ever watched.
Spartacus is the answer to that, because season 1 of Spartacus is the greatest season in history of television. There is no season of any show better than season 1 of Spartacus. it was not their fault, but the main guy who played Spartacus died of cancer, and they recast another guy who was horrible. The show became unwatchable.
The recasts are brutal, dude.
Yeah,
The recasts when you know only
True
Becky from what
Detective.
Roseanne could get away with it because Sarah Chalk is a Canadian national treasure. But other than that, you can't get away with a recast.
True Detective, Dan. Birdhoff just wrote that in the chat, and I agree. Guys, if you like what we're talking about, this is going to be part of our new show. Yeah. And Dan's going to be on it with me at times too.
With a hat, though.
Yeah,
I mean, you can tell I wasn't planning on coming on. This has some bounce to it. I'm Farrah Fawcetting.
My kids took me to Sinners last night. I had no idea anything about the movie. We're an hour in, and all of a sudden, it became a vampire movie. I had no idea.
You were like, what the?
No idea that it was a vampire movie.
Did the edibles just kick in now, or is this a vampire movie?
I was doing the pen
in the theater.
In the theater.
Oh,
yes.
Come on.
Can you imagine my shock?
Have some decor.
My shock. I'm watching a movie, and all of a sudden,
ripping the Benjamin movie. In the theater, though, Prez. You deserve a bad movie for that one.
Why? What's wrong with penning in the theater?
Have some decorum. Come on.
Dude, I breathe it in here, so it doesn't.
That makes no difference. People definitely know what's happening.
I love you, Dan. We'll see you tomorrow.
Love you, brother. This is fun.
Guys.
Get out of here.
Later, everyone.